Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is young.
Good morning once again. This is your urban lifestyle station, High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. My name is Tifa Toluwasha, and of course, you are on the Morning Impact Show, where we give you everything that your morning needs for the day. And of course, this is the time for us to review the newspapers. Again, my name is Tifa Toluwasha, and of course, I am here with the very pretty Vivian Oguche. Good morning.
Hi, Tolu. Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Very well. I must let the viewer and the listener know that Tolutu is so pretty, you know.
Thank you. Thank you. So
you slept well?
I did.
Shows.
I did.
You know, you kept saying these people they should bring this electricity back home.
I did.
And when I saw the light yesterday, I was Tolu.
I was so excited. I was like, finally. So happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
you know, we're talking about it, and just shortly after the newspaper reviews yesterday morning, you know, I mean, the headlines now started. I mean, breaking news all
everywhere.
Over. The NLC, TUC calls up strike, negotiations continue. I was like, this is good. This is good. Yeah, it shows that both parties are listening.
Yes, they are. And they understand that, okay, we need to do something.
Absolutely. Because people were beginning to really cry. And then in a short while, we're going to be taking a look at the major dailies, right?
Yeah.
And one of the major headlines, this, if you check it out later on, is that the president is saying, see, we are ready. And Minister of Finance, go give me the costs. Let me know how much this thing will cost. So it looks very good. So like Tolu said, I'm Vivian Oguche, and it's always a pleasure to have you join us on the show. Now, Tolu, I saw something very interesting yesterday on TV. Which TV is High Impact, of course, and it's a teaser, sort of brain teaser, and it asked a question. You know, one of these fellas, you know, said, what is the thing that is always asked a question but never, or what's the thing that always answers but never asks a question? I kept thinking, what's the thing that always answers but never asks a question?
I don't think I've heard that.
I'm telling you, I was trying to wrap my head around it, and then the next thing I saw was a doorbell.
Right, of course.
You know, you ring a doorbell.
Yes.
It answers.
But it doesn't ask any questions.
It never asks the questions.
That's interesting. That's new.
Stuff like, it's new. Stuff like this is what you get on High Impact TV.
Exactly.
So stay hooked, people. Don't ever turn it off. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we hit the ground running with the dailies.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Okay, welcome back. 9 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock, and you are still on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. We are on the Morning Impact Show, and of course, I am with Vivian Oguche. My name is Tifa Toluwasha. If you want to join us in the conversation, you can call 0700 1021 1021 or send a text message or WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. You can also follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, X, which was formerly known as Twitter, Facebook.
I think you got that backwards.
Okay, what's that?
Oh, did you say X, which was formerly known as Twitter? Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're right. Continue.
Okay.
Pull your legs.
Good one. So, can you see what Vivian is saying to me this morning? So, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter. Don't do that again. And High Impact 1021 FM. And of course, we have lots to talk about this morning. But first, we will start with the front page of the Punch newspaper. And it says, minimum wage talks, Labour considers 100,000 naira as Tinubu issues ultimatum. Again, minimum wage talks, Labour considers 100,000 naira as Tinubu issues ultimatum. And one writer here says, President orders minister to calculate cost. Labour gives 1 week ultimatum.
1 week ultimatum.
Yeah, just one.
So they've got to wrap this thing up. We don't
Quickly as possible.
We don't want any blackouts
No dilly
anymore.
dally, nothing.
Absolutely.
Nada.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, also on page 23, you can see that CNG will reduce petrol imports by $4.4 billion, according to federal government. And there's another one on page 5. Police hunt for tenant as landlord dies during rent face-off.
Oh my
That's serious.
God, that's unfortunate. You see this thing about rent?
This is trouble.
It is trouble.
Wow. Okay, so if you want to get that news, that's on page 5. Also on page 30, PSC unveils 10,000 recruits, and drops 61,092 applicants.
And that's huge. That's the number of people that, those are people applying to enter the police force.
Yeah.
That's massive. But Tolu, do you know that some people basically do this because they have no options? I met someone who had...
You mean going into the force?
Yes, I met someone who was going to go into the force, who applied to go into the force, and said the reason why he was doing it was because he had been job hunting for years, couldn't get any job, and he decided to go into the force. Could that be one of the reasons why we have some security men who are not really dedicated? I mean, they say the police is your friend, right? Some of them are not really friendly, I can tell you.
True.
But you could, just like Tolu said, you could dig into that story, yeah? Details where?
That's on page 30 of the Punch
Fantastic.
newspaper.
Yeah.
It's interesting because now it's normal to serve your fatherland and protect citizens of the country. It's now just to find another option. There's no other place to go, so you join the force.
But that's, yeah, it is painful. But that's not to say there are some very good policemen.
No,
and
of course,
women.
definitely.
I've met a number of them. In fact, these days you hear stories like someone's car broke down on 3rd Mainland Bridge, and you find police officers helping them to push the car to a safe place so that both the car and the owner
We'll be fine.
Yeah, those are good things.
It
when,
is.
when you say the police is my friend and you do stuff like that, I nod and say, yeah, you're right.
They are your friends.
Absolutely.
They are, definitely.
You have more on the front page of the Punch?
Yes, on page 21, sell crude to Dangote Refinery, federal government direct IOCSs.
That's the international oil companies now.
Yes. Also on page 21, according to Fitch Ratings, Naira may settle at $1,450.
Oh Lord! So
By December.
did you know that once upon a time,
Yes.
a naira was, in fact, it was $1 to $2.
Yes.
$1
I know.
to $2.
I think there was a time it was even around like 350 or 350 400, like $1 was around that amount. I had no idea it was going to turn out to be like
I'm
this.
even telling you that way back, and I'm sure this was in the
Long
70s,
time.
decades ago. It was $1 to $2. That means the naira was more valuable
Then
than the dollar. But look at but let's
things
just,
have changed.
Things
have changed.
But let's hope that things will continue to change for the better.
But is this possible though? $1,450 by December?
Yeah, it is. Nothing is impossible. Yeah.
Amen. Also, if you want to get some news on page 29, local government funds, reps bank federal government suit against governors.
Okay, the lawmakers are backing the federal government's suit against governors.
Yes.
The federal government had sued governors regarding local government autonomy. You know this thing about government being 3 tiers, the federal, the state, and the local government is very intentional. The local government is supposed to be grassroots, is the nearest to the people.
Yes.
So the federal government is saying that states are stifling local government, and so they took states to court. Now it's saying that the representatives, the House of Reps, are backing the federal government. So fingers crossed. Let's see how this pans out. Yeah.
Yep. There's also another major headlines here, still on Punch newspaper on page 5. It says 1 killed and 50 miners trapped as pit collapses in Niger.
That's very unfortunate. You have very graphic pictures here.
Very graphic.
On the front page of the
We're trying to
Punch.
excavate so that they can bring out the people
Yeah,
that
I
are
think
trapped.
it's a rescue mission. I do hope that more miners will be rescued before the day runs out.
Yes. Hope so that too.
Mm.
And that is all we have on the Punch newspaper.
Fantastic. Okay, I've got the Vanguard here, and on the front page of the Vanguard, in the middle strip, major headline: give costs to government today. That's coming from President Tinubu, and he's giving this order to his finance minister. This is regarding the minimum wage.
Right.
You have lots of riders to this story, but I'll
Lots
just
of
take,
them.
just few of them. So the rider says, as Labour suspends strike for 5 days, says negotiations should be completed as soon as possible. And why we suspended strike, that's the NLC TUC is explaining why they suspended the strike. They're also saying Committee on Minimum Wage adopts agenda for today's meeting. Also, Senate Action Aid asks federal government to expedite action to stop industrial unrest. Then the Attorney General of the Federation should prosecute states that fail to pay 30,000 naira minimum wage. This is coming from the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Falana. Now, Ntolu, this is something that's on the front burner.
Right.
So you are saying that the minimum wage in Nigeria should be above 60,000. In fact, Labour, based on what you said in one of the on one of the front pages of the dailies, it said 100,000 thereabout.
Yes, 100,000.
So what analysts are saying, including the analyst we had on our show yesterday, Adeni Ifetayo, he said he's recommending that it shouldn't be a common figure for all states, because there are a number of states that are not even able to pay 30,000 naira.
Yes.
The 30,000 naira minimum which some states couldn't pay. How about 60,000 naira? So Falana now is saying that government should sue states that are unable to pay minimum wage. Now, how about the state is unable to sue? Because there are some states that are basically agrarian or civil servant states, not like Lagos. Not all states are like Lagos and Port
Of
Harcourt
course,
and
because
Kano.
some are. Of course, we know that there are some places that are more developed than other places.
Absolutely.
So the difference is going to be very, very clear.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm going to continue with the front page of the Punch, but this is just to invite the viewer and the caller that you can call 0700-1021-1021. I take that again, 0700-1021-1021 to be part of the discussion. You can also join the conversation on WhatsApp, and the number is 0907 224 5018 0907 224 5018. Also, we are live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also catch us live on Nikon SAR 32 degree east. Of course, that's our sister station, which is also streaming the morning show called Breakfast Cafe. Could join them as well. Now, I have more stories on the front page of the Vanguard. This one here says this is politics now. Edo Ondo Guba. INEC extends voter registration deadline to June 9. Find details of that on page 7. Now, this is coming from Riwani, renowned economist, Alfred Riwani, and this is about a business economy. And he says labor leaders must reconsider wage demand to avoid layoffs. Now, this is food for thought, and it demands for me to read it again.
Please do.
Riwani is saying labor leaders must reconsider wage demand to avoid layoffs. He's saying, so if the salary becomes too much for government or the private sector to pay, they'll start laying people off.
Because they'll be like, they can't afford it. So, and definitely, some will just have to stay and some will just have to go. So it's going to cause another rift again, unemployment, and
this is another
cycle.
side to the coin. Totally, that's a good one. It's coming from Riwani. So I'm sure this is one of the things Labour is going to be talking about when they come to the round table with the government today. Above the middle strip, you hear this one: editors flay increasing space of journalists' abduction. Find details of that on page 8 of the Vanguard. Also below that story, you find this one here: 30 feared dead as mine site collapses in Niger. You find pictures of that collapse on the front page of the Punch, like Tolu just read. Now, above the masthead here, subtitle: compressed natural gas (CNG). Federal government targets $4.4 billion petrol import savings. That's what you were talking about earlier, and that's massive.
Yes.
So if they are able to pull this off, bravo, it's all I'll say. Well, that's about it on the front page of the Vanguard.
And then moving on to the Guardian newspapers, on the front page it says World Environment Day, how illegal mining, deforestation, others leave Nigerians poorer, and that is on page 6. There are pictures here on this, the mining infrastructure, places that are flooded, how everything has, just caused a very, very
now let's talk a little bit about the major headline on the Guardian: how illegal mining, deforestation, others leave Nigerians poorer. Now this is because the World Environment Day is coming up soon.
Yeah.
Now this is meat for environmentalists. They talk a lot about deforestation. Deforestation is felling trees.
Yes, illegal felling of trees.
Absolutely.
Illegal felling of trees, maybe because you want to
use it as firewood
or
make furniture.
Some people
are
even trying to just catch this thing they call bush rats.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Sometimes you just sometimes when I'm traveling, you can just see a place can just be set ablaze with fire everywhere. Everything is smoking, and then when you ask them, they'll be like, they want to catch something. It can be very, very funny.
So what does this...
I feel there is no band. If they are telling them to pay, they won't do stuff like that.
So what does this mean, though? Those of us that eat bush, do you eat bush?
No, I don't like it.
You don't?
I don't like it.
Maybe you've not had someone really prepare it very well for you.
I don't like it.
Like grass cutter?
No.
Oh, my God.
Oh, the way you're saying that. It seems you like it.
Oh, I do. All right, so you can go ahead now. What, you have more stories there?
Yes. Looking at page 2, we see NGE condemns increasing spate of journalist abduction.
That's editors now.
Yes. There's also another one on Osun APC expels Aregbesola, warns members against associating with ex-governors group.
Hold on a little bit. This is big news. Aregbesola used to be a governor. Former governor of Osun State, and then he used to be a minister in former President Muhammadu Buhari's cabinet. This is serious. I do know that prior to this present administration, or prior to the election that brought on this present administration, Aregbesola was daggers drawn with the candidate of his party, the APC. So he was accused of indulging in extra party activities, anti-party activities. It was said in the news then during the elections that he had campaigned against the candidate that his party had used, and so I'm sure this is one of the things that's responsible for this expulsion. You find details of this on page 7.
Yes, and there's also
of
the Guardian newspaper.
Yes.
There's also another one on page 28 about bandits abduct varsity lecturers and family in Castina.
Oh, this is hoping that the victims gain speedy, in fact, that they are rescued quickly.
Amen.
Speedy freedom is what we're praying for, yes.
Also, there's another major one here, page 6, about strike that Tinubu blinks and gives finance minister 48 hours to plan and to table action plan.
Now, if you ask me, this is more than blinking. The president is not just blinking; he's shouting, "Give me the cost." I do hope he follows through to the end with this.
Yeah, we do hope so too.
Absolutely.
So, if you want that news, that is on page 6 of the Guardian. newspaper. So we still have some more here on page 27. The INEC extends CVR exercise, captures 120,458 new voters in Edo, Ondo. Right. Also, there's another one here on page 9. The IGP warns senior officers against extorting personnel over promotional interview. Yeah.
That's interesting. Where do we get details?
That's on page 9 of the Guardian newspaper. And that's about it, really. That's about it.
The Guardian is packed today.
Very.
Lots of stories. Well, last but not least, I got this one here, is the Daily Trust. And it's talking about the minimum wage. And it says, Labour vows to reject little addition to 60,000 naira. You know, Tolu, it was said, a number of my colleagues and I were saying yesterday, or they were saying, and I overheard them saying that government is saying we are committed to paying above 60,000. And so they were saying above 60,000 could be 61,000, 62,000.
Or 60,005 naira. I'm just saying. I mean.
know, right? You had to go there. Now, this is what Labour is saying, that they are vowing to reject little addition to 60,000. So probably they are looking at 65, 66, 67, thereabout. Let's keep our fingers crossed, as we say. And you won't believe it. That's just the only headline on Daily Trust. But there are a couple of riders. I'll just read that. Okay. So the major headline says, minimum wage, Labour vows to reject little addition to 60,000 naira. And the rider says, why we relaxed strike for 1 week. That's coming from the NLC President Joe Ajero. And then the last rider here says, gets me cost implication in 48 hours. Tinubu orders Edun, that's the Minister of Finance. Find details of that on page 4 of the Daily Trust. That's about it on the front page of the Daily Trust. And of course, it's a wrap for this first segment of the newspaper review. When we come back, we will have a guest who will be dissecting each of these headlines that we just took a look at. And remember to be a part of the conversation by sending your messages to 0907-224-5018 on WhatsApp. And you can also call 0700-1021-1021 to be part of the discussion. And like we said, we are live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. That's about it. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
This is your everyday companion.
Everyday companion.
High Impact 102.1 FM.
The sea, the waves, serenity. High Impact Cruise.
Welcome to High Impact Cruise.
Yes, experience the waters of Lagos, you and your family on Eugene 1, a luxurious ultra-modern 4-story yacht, fabulous music, sumptuous meals, and an elegant, well-stocked bar with an array of exotic drinks. Call 0705-095-5987 or 0806-483-1491 for bookings and inquiry. High Impact Cruise. Dream, discover, explore.
Babe, I want to surprise my guy with a good treat. Where would you recommend?
Girl, I've got the perfect place for you.
Are you sure?
Yeah, my family and I were there not too long ago. It was fantastic. And the kids loved it. The apartment was home away from home, the ride, swimming pool, 3D cinema, and the food. Oh my gosh.
Where's this place now?
It's High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort, my dear. It's just away from Lagos and it has everything you need to relax and have unlimited fun.
How do I make bookings?
Oh yeah, call this number 0814-229-9509. Wait, are you booking a suite?
Why?
So I can tag along,
Nikini.
High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort. Fun just got real.
Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Welcome back. It's High Impact 102.1 FM. My name is Vivian Oguche, and I've got my girl Tulu with me in the house. And this is the newspaper review segment, second part of the show, though. And we're going to be coming in with our guest very, very soon. In the meantime, you can call 0700-1021-1021 to be part of the discussion. Take it again, 0700-1021-1021 to be part of the discussion. You can also join the conversation on WhatsApp, and the number is 0907-224-5018, 0907-224-5018. Like we said, we are live also on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. Now talking about messages, thank you so much for your contributions. They are coming in. Now this message came in via WhatsApp, and it says, "Good morning, my sisters in the studio. Good morning."
Good morning.
Yes, and it's coming from Father Nnamdi Oye. And Father Nnamdi Oye is writing us from Ogba in Ikeja. And then he says, on Dangote Refinery, it is a national embarrassment that Nigeria, as one of the leading crude oil producing nation and exporter in this world, was unable to supply crude oil to Dangote Refinery on the excuses of inadequate and not enough in production of crude oil on quota level, only to allow this man to be importing this same crude oil from abroad. This crude oil is the raw material for refining petrol, diesel, kerosene, and jet A1, etc. This crude oil is being wasted like flood water in this all swampy forest of the Niger Delta region, where I come from, with this shortfall of crude oil production level due to inefficiency and deceitfulness on the part of the NNPC leaders and crude oil production workers. Wow. That is a lot. Now, I'm going to bring in our guest now to react to this message from Father Nnamdi Oye. Sunday Odibashi is standing by. He is a public affairs analyst, and we are so glad for you to join us this morning. Good morning, Sunday.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing very well.
Thank you so much for joining us. I want you to react to what... did you listen to the message Father Nnamdi Oye sent from Ogba?
Oh, yeah.
Could you react to that?
Yeah, I think...
Also, could you... Sunday, can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, okay, I can hear you.
Okay. So, you were... Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's very, very correct. Because as an oil-producing country, you have a responsibility to, first of all, satisfy your domestic needs before going international. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the OPEC quota is now 1.5 million barrels per day, for allocation for Nigeria, for 2025. Now, if you cannot satisfy your domestic demand for crude oil, then how are you going to meet up with the foreign the international market? Now, the government has been giving excuses, oil theft. Now, for 1 year, you cannot bring oil theft under control within a region. Then we wonder how you are going to run the government to not say, you are going to generate the revenue. So it's a very big one. The Nigerian elite, they are naturally unproductive. So it's not about the only thing they need to just give excuses. They are naturally unproductive, especially the present generation of elite in Nigeria. You cannot compare that with the type with what you have in the First Republic, where you have the likes of Popotona, Wolowo, Poka Balewa, and others, where they were productive in their regions and they could create wealth, also create opportunities for people, also including their fast development. But today, all we have is excuses. Everybody is looking for what to share. Nobody is interested in producing, what to generate the revenue to share. So the current elite, they are very unproductive, and this is manifesting in every sector of the economy. Look at the petrol, the crude oil you are talking about. You only it's in your ground. You are only for you to pull it out and just move to Lagos. They are giving a spirit. They will tell you, oil theft. Is this oil theft? Is it became kind of by spirit? You know, human being. And the poor man go there and stop there. If you're not rich, they will say, oh, we'll find a vessel in Ghana. Or you carry Nigeria crude oil. And you have a navy there. Nobody is even paying for it.
You remember the last administration had enlisted the help of Tompolo, a former militant leader, to say, help us stop this, curb this crude oil theft. And there were some, strides made in that area. Do you think that's an arrangement that this administration should also continue with?
Well, this administration, they are also thinking of their own because when they came in, they shifted from Polo to Asari Dokuwa as their friends for the Niger Delta, don't forget. So, if what you're now saying that, we should take the contract away from Polo and give it to Dokubo and see what will happen, well, fine. But it's unfortunate that a country that has its own military, that has its own intelligence, cannot even protect the wealth of the country, of the nation.
True.
You can't even protect your own wealth with all the security apparatus you have. And you're not looking for private individuals to come and do it for you. I think it's a kind of patronage to say, these guys, let's bring them in and see what they can do for us. But if that is the solution, so be it.
Fantastic. When you were talking about this issue earlier on, you sounded pained when you talked about state governors coming to the federal government at the end of each month to collect money. It's like they come, they just wait, and at the end of the month they come to share money. Is this something that is peculiar to Nigeria alone, or is this something people practice worldwide?
No, I think it's peculiar to Nigeria. It's the malfunction of our federal system. All right, when the federal has taken over the powers of the state, in the First Republic, who have powers presiding with the region, so they could do whatever they want to do and satisfy their needs. But today, the powers have been transferred to the federal, and the federal cannot manage these powers. So the states are even more or less powerless to go into production in the real sense. They are more or less powerless to go into creativity. So everything is focused on the center. So let them gather it. And let us just have it and, we'll get it shared. You tell me a VAT, for instance, most of the VAT are coming from Lagos, Rivers, Delta, and all that. But you see that they say like Kanu could get a lion's share and all that. Until recently, when they started to fight about the former governor Wike, started fighting about it. How can we be producing and somebody is not producing, you are getting a lion's share? Before they now decide they tried to change the formula. So we have had a system where the states are actually rendered less powerful, and the federal is like very powerful, and yet they are not even utilizing the power to create wealth for the country. So those state governments are now waiting. Let them collect the revenue, let them collect the VAT, let's go and share. So no, they are really not speaking much about production.
Now that you've talked about this, that states have been rendered powerless and not very creative. Let's talk about this minimum wage issue. So if the labor, the NLC, is saying you must pay around 100,000 naira, and some states cannot even afford to pay the current minimum wage at 30,000 naira thereabout, what happens? Like Rewanu said, if you're not very careful, it might result to people laying workers off. What's your take on this, though? This back and forth between government and labor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little chaotic. In as much as we support higher wage for workers, we must also consider the economic consequences. Because even this minimum wage the labor is talking about is about level 1, step 1. And that is you are talking about the level of cleaners, messengers, and all that. So it comes within the range that the government is proposing. I think is reasonable.
Okay.
To an extent, so that they don't even go beyond the powers of the state government to pay. Even someone was saying that even the current 30,000 per month that the federal government is still borrowing to go and pay. So I think first should also find a midpoint. So it's okay, let's put it at this stage and let's move on. Then with time we can renegotiate when the economy bounces back. Because the Nigerian economy is weak, the Nigerian economy is collapsing, it's down. So labor should also be thinking. I think that labor would have made a comprehensive demand. Make economic demands and make financial demand. They should not focus on financial demand. Because if they focus on only financial demand as they are going, tomorrow the whole thing may collapse. They would have also come in and said, the government, you must get the refineries working, you must get the cost of production to come down, you must get the cost of doing business in Nigeria to come down so that investors can come. It's not just about what you are going to earn. Now you're going to create the money to even pay what you are demanding for. Many investors are not coming. The FDI, the foreign direct investment that the federal government has been talking about all over the years is down. So you need to also create opportunities that there will be just for the Nigerian youth, so that the people can even work and earn the minimum wage you are demanding. So they would have made their demand comprehensive, both financial and economic, not just only financial as they are just going. So I think within the range of anything between, because the federal government initially proposed 60,000, the state government is already paying 70,000.
Wow.
All right. So so even without negotiation, so they should just look at it. And again, they should not have a uniform this thing imposed on all states. Not all the states have the capacity, to pay what they are even demanding for. Even the previous was not all the states have the capacity to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So they should also look at the divergence of the state, their capacity to pay and the capacity to meet up with the demand, so that tomorrow there will be no further crisis over this particular issue.
Fantastic. Now, you are a public affairs analyst. You are also a journalist. So I want you to react to this story, which is one of the headlines on the front page of the Vanguard. Editors flay increasing spate of journalists' abduction. What's your take?
That's a very serious issue in the present administration, because the president has been told President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In the past, we've known him to be a friend of the media, so we cannot really tell what is going on in the present administration. Now that it's at the federal. When he was the governor, he was a friend of the media, but now it's like the thing is turning upside down. And again, the government should also know that the media, they are friends, they are contemporaries with government. They are partners. So they need to collaborate to move the country forward. Where you see the media as enemy, it's going to be dangerous for the government. Because if you want to wage a war against the media, you can kidnap as much as possible. You cannot kill the spirit of journalism. You cannot kill the spirit of speaking the truth. You cannot kill the spirit of speaking up. The media has a responsibility to check the government. The media has a responsibility to criticize the government. That is why they are in the public space. The first sector of the society that shares the public sphere with the government is the media. So when you take out the government, the next aspect of the society that shares the public space is the media. So the government cannot just continue to say you want to absorb, you want to do this, if you harass with detail and all that. I think it's rather unfortunate. It's a threat to democracy if it's allowed to, if it's sustained.
Well, let's take this one more from the Vanguard. Yeah, and then we will continue with the other papers. But let me quickly take this message that just came in from Oye Omojagun, and his Oye, I will have pronounced your name very, very well. Apologies if I didn't. Oye is writing us from Ikorodu, and he says, please, in fact, his write-up is in caps. It shows that he's very serious. He said, please, let the Minister of Finance remember that pensioners also deserve a better life when determining the workers' minimum wage. Fantastic. Sunday, please react to that before we continue.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes sense. And what you earn with the current pension regime, what you earn will also depend on your minimum wage. And if government is finding it difficult to even handle those that are already in service, I'm surprised. I wonder how they will connect with those that have retired. But again, I think it's going to be a total view. So the federal government should really make sure that even the pensioners benefit from the current minimum wage, even if it's federally approved.
Fantastic. Now, this one, final headline on the Vanguard before we move on to the Punch. Compressed natural gas. Federal government targets $4.4 billion petrol import savings. So they intend to save $4.4 billion import savings. They intend to make that savings from imports of petrol products through the use of compressed natural gas. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah. Well, these are projections that we cannot presently predict because, first of all, the federal government developed the capacity to process the CNG in Nigeria. Because that natural gas that we are using, which we also use for cooking gas and all that, they are not even processed here in the first instance. So it's not about projecting what we're going to save for petrol. Have we even maximized the potentials of the petrol? We have not. Because experts in petroleum engineering will tell you that they have about 99 byproducts you can get from processing crude oil to petrol. And quickly that you're supposed to have a 99 subsidiary businesses. Have we maximized that? We have not. Now you're now going to CNG. Have we got the capacity to make it available, to process it in Nigeria and make it available and accessible to users? Because those are questions the federal government should be asking itself. Not just moving ahead to now tell people what they want us to hear as though that is the measure. So because tomorrow will not run into crisis. They are now forcing people into CNG and all that. Is it available? Is it affordable? Is it accessible? How sustainable it is. So it's a good idea if it's available, it's accessible, and they can sustain it. Good idea, fine. It will also help in this environment debate. So this pollution and all that will reduce.
Yes.
But what capacity for local production of that CNG, so it will be available to those who convert their vehicles to CNG phase. And the cost, because look at the cost of cooking gas. It is going high every day. People cannot even afford it. So how are you guaranteeing that one will be affordable tomorrow when you are applying to vehicles and generators? So these are fundamentals that the government should look into before telling us projecting of what they are going to save from petrol and whatever.
So I'm wondering, I'm wondering if you might want to add that they should also curb gas flaring, don't you think?
Gas flaring. From gas, Nigeria, like as far as the president of Sarat is most expert in that sector. They will say that Nigeria has more gas deposits than petroleum. Than crude oil, sorry. Than crude oil.
Okay.
And in every oil well, there is gas deposit. But they have gas deposits, in the ground that do not contain oil. And because of the government not being productive, the elite not being productive, that is why we are flaring gas. Those gas are supposed to be extracted and processed. But perhaps, maybe this CNG something might even help to reduce the gas flare. Because of you flaring the gas, extract it and convert to CNG.
And make more money.
And make more money, yes. So let's see if we go to work in that direction.
Fantastic. Now let's move swiftly to the punch now, right? We got this one here. LG funds, local government funds, representatives back the federal government suit against governors. You remember the federal government had sued local states rather over local government autonomy. Let's have your take on that.
Yeah, I think they would have rather gone into better, deeper negotiation with the state governors than going to court.
Oh, really?
Yes. But let me make this point here. The issue of local government autonomy, it's not debatable. It's desirable. It's necessary. It's imperative. It's important that they have autonomy. But the approach to which they are going about is what I'm really not really giving approval to. Because we must respect the specificity of the functions of government, the structures that govern the country, so that we don't even jump guns because we want to attain a certain result. Local government is in the jurisdiction of state government. Only state government can make laws for the local government. The federal government cannot make laws for local government. It's not in the Constitution. The Constitution only listed the local government and did not give authority to the federal government. When I even heard that the former president did an executive order on local government autonomy, I was like, this is executive lawless. He wouldn't have done that because it's not within his jurisdiction. It's within the jurisdiction of the local the governors to approve the local government autonomy. So they need to lobby and have a kind of conversation, and even the local government themselves to agitate for that within their own relationship with the government. And say, can we move in this direction? Let it be a basis of our continual existence in the democracy and all that. So the federal government would have gone in it. Because don't forget, When Tinubu was governor of Lagos State, he sued the federal government when he created 37 local councils. And they refused to listen to the constitution. He went to the Supreme Court. He won the case. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the former President Yero Oshibajo was the Attorney General and the Commissioner for Justice in Lagos State. You know, when former President Obasanjo, he withheld the allocation of the Lagos State government. Tinubu went to court. He won the case. Even though Obasanjo refused to release the funds, which was later done by Yar'Adua. So when you now fought for the authority of a state government over local government, why are you not going to court because you are president? So now say, oh, you know, the local government will now be the one determine. Federal government will not determine for local government. So it is within the state. So they need a better relationship with governors to get it achieved.
All right. At the risk of playing the advocate, remember Sunday that the past administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari tried negotiations with state governments. It didn't work. Probably that is why this administration is trying to use the hard tactic.
You know, they're supposed to continue with that. They're supposed to continue with that negotiation. You know, it's important that Nigerians they respect the structures of government in the country. No matter who is benefiting and who is not benefiting. Look at what is happening in Kano State, for instance. Mm-hmm. Because we don't give respect to structures of government, it is the power of the state to handle issues of traditional institutions. You know, now you can see the confusion in Kano State, where we are using the federal money to support a deposed payment when the state government has installed reinstated an amendment. You know, so because of this lack of clarity, so we want to get results quick. We don't want to respect the principles establishing this government. We don't want to respect the values behind the operation of the structures of government. So we jump into I support local government autonomy. They should go through the right direction. Mm-hmm. And that is what I stand for. Because
I was going to say that you should also speak to the state governments as well, and you know, highlight the importance of local government autonomy in the first place. Why do we need this?
Well, it's important. There's no doubt. You know, because we are just talking about local government autonomy. Okay. For instance, ask yourself, how autonomous is INEC? Is the National Electoral Commission? Is it really autonomy? Because the same thing that is happening at the federal is happening at the state. The state governors have their fear. Why they are not allowing that? And it's just the same way that the federal is also not allowing agencies, to be independent, to be autonomous. So it is neither here nor there. I think it's the level of democratic civilization in Nigeria that is actually causing all these things. Because people go there, some don't go with quick credentials and others, and they use the powers that they acquire to protect themselves. So they will not allow other institutions to function with transparency and accountability. You know. So, but I think it's important that the governors allow the local government to be autonomous, just like other agencies as well, so that Nigeria can move forward. You can now hold somebody accountable for a responsibility that has been assigned to him. Because now it is almost difficult to hold a local government chairman responsible or councillors for failure to deliver on local services. But then I think we need to move forward.
We need to move forward. Yes, fantastic. Yeah. You know, you talked about the level of democracy in Nigeria. It reminds me of what former President Olusegun Obasanjo said not too long ago, that democracy is not the right form of government for Nigeria. I wonder if you agree, not to mention that it took the U.S. over 200 years to get to where they are. How would you react to that?
Yeah, I think I think he was in a hurry to arrive at that conclusion. I think the major problem is that we are practicing democracy with transparency. We're also not practicing democracy with accountability. So if the rule of law is allowed to go and guide the practice of democracy in Nigeria, democracy is going to work. You know, but when you have a process where people maneuver their way, especially you don't allow transparent electoral process, because it begins from there. If you don't allow transparent electoral process, when you get into power, you will do everything to suppress any opposition to your process, for the process of which you got to power. You know, and in doing that, a lot of our natural resources are being wasted to satisfy certain interests that you feel may rise against you tomorrow and others. So it's not really that democracy is not good for Nigeria, but the process of practicing it is actually what the problem is. the elite, they don't comply with the rule of law, because democracy is constitutional government. It's about the rule of law, what the Constitution says. But they don't comply with the rule of law. They don't comply with Constitution. They only think about themselves. And once they are satisfied with their environment, I think for them that is democracy. But I think with time, democracy is going to work in Nigeria. We take for example, what is happening in South Africa. How the ANC is is losing control. They lost to the opposition. Malema losing his group. They have been consistent. They have been specific. They have been firm in what he believes in. So the thing is that here in Nigeria, the political elites are not guided by ideology. They believe in virtually nothing except their eyes are just on the national resources, targeting our national wealth, how they can share among themselves. And until they begin to change their orientation to know that being in government is a service to the people and not to acquire wealth, then democracy will continue to have it the way we're having it. But if the people insist and see, we have somebody to follow and we are following this person, I believe that it will change. The democracy is going to work. If it doesn't work with the elite, it must work with the people.
And this
can see it happen in South Africa.
This is a safe place to land. Sunday, you have been fantastic on the show today. Thank you for your insightful contribution, as usual.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Tolu. Sunday, he was hitting the nail on the head.
He delved into every single part.
Absolutely. This is where we get to wrap it up. But I've got to say thank you to everyone that listened and contributed to the show this morning. We want to say thanks to our contributor from Ogba, Father Namdi. Thank you so much. And also thank you, Oye, from Ikorodu. We do appreciate it. This is how we do it every day, Mondays to Fridays, right here on High Impact 102.1 FM. My name is Vivian Oguche, and
my name is T for Toluashe. We'll continue with the Morning Impact Show.
Absolutely. Bye for now.
Bye.